Hey everybody, this is Angela Sasser of angelasasser.com. Fantasy art and character-driven stuff. I still am bad at intros every time I do this, but this is my monthly studio hangout. I'm brought to you by Patreon patrons, so give yourselves a pat on the back, my Patreon peoples. Thanks for your support. And this is just a monthly thing I do to let you guys know how my month has been and talk about art and answer any questions you might have. So I'm just going to dive right in. It's been a really exciting month. As you know, I've been in a mentorship with the folks over at robotpencil.org, specifically Dan Lovisi and Anthony Jones, and this is a 2-month mentorship where I've been learning all about developing my own IP. And an IP is like a franchise like Game of Thrones or The Simpsons, or just like an idea that turns into either stories or TV shows or movies. It's just something that's like a universe with characters and products attached to it. So it's been really interesting, and I've been working on my own story for this mentorship. So it's been really exciting and actually has been a much needed shot in the arm of energy for me, because like, as you guys know, I've been having some bad luck since April, but things are looking up now and we're doing okay. So I'm excited. I'm sleepless, but it's all good because this has been like such a great experience. And I wanted to show you actually something cool that I've been learning about in the mentorship. I'm going to switch to screen share. But there's this cool thing that Adobe just released with Photoshop that I've been using for the mentorship that I wanted to share with you guys. So let's share. Screen share. All right, so Photoshop CC has done this thing now called Artboards. So if you go to like New and Artboard, it opens up this like blank board that you can put pictures in. Like I've got a couple here, and I've been using this for the mentorship to draw these boards and add them to it. So one board will have my references, and then these other boards have like the illustrations I'm working on, and you can move them around and whatnot. But what makes this really cool and useful is that you can go to File, Export, and Export As, and you can pretty much sit here and export. Oops, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. You can export all of these different panels as separate files, and you can put them as PNG. I think you can even export the whole thing as a PDF. But it's just a way to work with multiple pages and segments in one file, and it saves it as a single PSD file. So if you were thinking about Photoshop CC, this has just added a really nice level of functionality in Photoshop CC. So definitely check it out. I actually switched to another Photoshop, or rather Creative Cloud plan recently that is for photographers. And it's like $9.99, and you get Photoshop CC and Lightroom, which I never use, but it's better than paying $20 for the single app subscription. So definitely recommend looking into that, because Adobe didn't email me about this plan. In fact, it came out a year ago and I just now discovered it. So all the money wasted. But I'm just glad to hear about it now, so I thought I'd pass on the knowledge. Let's see, what else? So yes, mentorship. I am almost to the end. I've got 2 weeks left, 3 weeks, and it's been cool. And as you can see, I've started actually going from all the thumbnail work to painting now, and it's just been lots and lots of painting, lots of pushing me out of my comfort zone to make these big epic scenes with crowds, and that's something I've always been kind of intimidated by. So it's well, let me turn on the Q&A panel. I always forget to do that at the beginning. There we go. Q&A panel's up if anyone wants to drop any questions for later. But yes, so comfort zones, getting out of them. And as cool as this is, I'm actually looking forward to the end. So I will, because we're going on vacation in July, and that's going to be great. I'm looking forward to just letting my brain melt out of my ears. So that's been cool. Other thing I've discovered lately this month is that you can actually integrate Gumroad stuff into your website. And I did not know Gumroad could do this, and I wanted to show you guys that real fast. Because mostly Gumroad is just this ugly shop. It's just, once you get a lot of videos, it's just scrolling and scrolling. There are no subcategories or anything. So I've been trying to find a way to integrate this with my website. And what I got going right now is, I'll show you. Oh, it's storming outside. Hopefully I don't get knocked off the internet. But if I disappear, you know what's happened to me. But yeah, so far I've got this going. It's still a lot of scrolling, but at least, you know, like, it's all coloring books as opposed to like videos and coloring books and whatever else. So the way I got the stuff to show up in my website like this is when you go to products in Gumroad, you can just go into a product, go to timeline, and then embed this product into your website. And I'm using the product widget, and you have to check the box that says redirect to Gumroad, and that'll make it so you can have the thumbnail. And then you just copy and paste this code right here. So it's pretty easy if tedious, but it's an option if you don't want to host your own files, because I was actually hosting my own files, and so many people are having problems downloading it because my gallery plugin for WordPress and the WooCommerce plugin for WordPress were like fighting me and download rights. So yeah, Gumroad is a nice option. You don't have to pay anything to list anything, and they keep up their security and store your files. So you don't have to worry about all of that on your own server. So I'm excited about that. I know I get excited over stupid like technology things like that that make your life easier as an artist. So yep. Yeah, these are my notes because I have a goldfish memory. So let's see. Anything else to screen share? So the other thing I've been testing out this month has been doing video critiques for people, which is where I'll basically take a painting and do a live red line and critique and talk about improvements and what you're doing right and whatnot. And it's something I've been wanting to do, so I've been figuring out Camtasia, and it's gone really well, so I'm excited to roll that out soon. Because before I actually offer pay per critiques for writing out critiques and doing a red line, and you would get to keep the PSD files and whatnot, but now I think the video files are, or offering people a video critique is actually a lot easier to understand and a lot clearer, and you can see what I'm drawing, which makes, I think, a little easier to understand than writing everything out. So definitely want to do more of those soon. I will talk about more of those when I will talk more about those when I'm ready to show more of those. So let's keep that in mind if you are working on a painting and you're stuck, that I can actually help you out with that. So drop me a line. And let's see. The other big thing on the horizon I'm already planning for those who are new, DragonCon is coming. And DragonCon is this huge convention that's in downtown Atlanta, which is close by to me. And it's the biggest one here, and everybody and their brother comes to it. It is like the biggest meeting of nerds ever, and I love it. It's my favorite convention. It's the only one I really do right now because my work doesn't quite fit in well with the anime cons around here. So DragonCon is like where my mature fantasy people are. So I love it. It's my best-selling show, and it's the most fun. So already I'm starting to get bags and backing, labels, inventory. I'm actually doing something new this year where instead of just having prints and the same old standard stuff, I'm actually going to be stocking like a lot of play mats, which if you're like me, you're like, what's a play mat? Isn't that what toddlers play on at school? No, it's apparently this giant mouse pad like thing where you can put your Magic the Gathering cards gently down on them so they won't get dirty. Which I shake my head because when I played Magic back in high school, I just put my cards on the floor. I didn't care, you know. But you know, I won't complain because it's a new way for people to have cool art on things, which is actually pretty awesome. So I'm gonna have a ton of play mats, which I'll show you guys next month when I actually have them here in my hand. I'm gonna get a huge stack like that big. And I've also am getting pencil bags and just like and dice bags, which I showed you guys the pictures of, but I want to show you the actual dice bag. I'll be right back. Dice bags! Oh, the dice bags! They're so much fun. I'm actually getting about these for some reason because you can put anything in them, not just dice. They're microfiber and they're just really cool. So I'm excited to show those to people at DragonCon. Oh, and I have one more cool product to show. More DragonCon stuff. I got this beautiful canvas print from canvaschamp.com. And there's actually a review I did of the company over at the Muses Library, and I'll put a link to that because I think if you're an artist and you're looking for a good canvas printer, this company is great. They're the cheapest I've found, and their quality is just gorgeous. And like this is nice gallery wrap. They even put handmade with love on the back. You can see their wrapping is like top notch, and they even mount these things on here for you. And I love that because I really hate stretching prints. Stretching prints is one of the most annoying things I've ever done, so if someone else can do that for me, I'm really happy. So yeah, DragonCon is coming. Oh, other good news about DragonCon. I'm actually going to be giving 2 panels there on social media for artists. The first panel is going to be about like listing the most popular social media outlets for artists and how artists can use them. And then the second panel is going to be about, well, what are some ideas about what you can post on social media, what you shouldn't post on social media, and tools like Hootsuite and Buffer and stuff. So check out the schedule when it's out and come say hi to me at the panels. Unfortunately, I won't have a table there because they ran out of tables before they got to me. But, you know, it's okay because I'm going to enjoy being a wandering free spirit at the con instead of selling. Like, I'll still have work for sale in the gallery and the print shop, but I'm just not going to have a table. I'll probably be haunting Brenda Lyon's table, so go see her awesome bird art, or like bird fantasy art, and I'll probably be over there. So that's the biggest stuff for me. And the very last update I have is I'm at 9 patrons on Patreon. Yay! This is a big milestone because at 10, I'm going to do a crazy experiment where if you guys will essentially vote on what series I'm going to do next, and this series will only be collectible through Patreon. So any prints and stuff, it'll be just you guys who are able to get them. So it's kind of risky, but it's kind of exciting and fun. So if you know someone who might like my art and might pitch in $1 for me or something, tell them to go and pitch into me on Patreon so we can get that 10th person, because I really want to get started on this exclusive thing, but I'm not doing it till I get to 10 people. So yeah, do some word of mouth for me. That'd be awesome. Let's see. And here's the part of the monthly update where I take any questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them up in Q&A. I see 2 viewers. You know you have questions. Put them in the thing. But until you guys post any here in the Q&A thing, the big question that I've been talking a lot about with other artists this month has been, where do you study color theory and color harmony and stuff? And ooh, that's a tough question because I still struggle with that myself. I've mostly been doing color in my work very intuitively, like, oh, that looks good, let me just throw it on the canvas, you know. But there are some cool study sources that I can recommend. The biggest one that I think most people will recommend to you is James Gurney's Color and Light. I'll show you. It looks like this. Somewhere in my bookshelf. Might help if I had my glasses. Never mind, it is currently lost in the mess of my studio, but it has like a cool dinosaur on it, and James Gurney is like this classical painter, pretty much. He paints in a very classical style, but it's like dinosaurs and awesome things, and he really knows this stuff. So I'll link that into the links section of this video when it goes up. But James Gurney, check him out. Observation, that's the other big way to learn, because like people can tell you all this science, and for me it's just like science words below. So I would suggest going out into nature and observing the way light changes. Paint outside. I know outside is scary, especially here in Georgia, but observation is a really big teacher. And study your favorite paintings. What colors are in those paintings? Why do you like them? How is color utilized? Try to actually sit and make a list, because I find that like writing down what you like and why you like it is better than just like never thinking about it at all. So try to get analytical about the paintings that you like. And there are some other sources over at Muddy Colors, which if you don't know them, they're this amazing blog that's hosted by multiple illustrators, and I think they even have a sculptor and a couple of different types of artists. So like, I'll look at that in a second. But check out Muddy Colors. I'll link to their post on color harmony. That's been really handy for me of late, and I think it'd be handy for you guys too. So, all right, we got a question from Bronwyn. Bronwyn asks, how do you work out pricing for products like the dice bags and prints? Is it a formula like 2 times the cost or something more intuitive? Actually, I do have a formula, and this I learned in marketing at SCAD. And what they suggested is that your base cost for your product is going to be your product plus packaging. And the final retail price should never be 150% more than the base cost of products plus packaging. If you go past 150%, you're kind of overcharging your customers. Although sometimes you can make exceptions because you're like, you know, limited edition, this is something you won't find anywhere else. So some people end up charging way past the 150% mark, but I try to keep everything at 150% markup, because generally you also have to think, if you ever wholesale your art, wholesalers expect a 50% at least discount. So if you discount your work and you realize I can't make any money at all, that means your price is too low. So think about that kind of thing if that's where you plan to go with your work. So that's how I apply it, because I'm trying to make a living wage. But some people who that doesn't matter, they just want to do it for fun, they'll sell it for whatever price they want. So that's another thing to think about, is if you're doing it for fun, it doesn't matter, but if you're doing it for making a livable wage, you gotta think about marking up. So hopefully that answers the question. So like the dice bags, they're roughly 8 with the packaging costs. So then I marked them up past, so 150%. So although the dice bags were a challenge because I had to make a choice of, do I want to use a US supplier or a supplier in China? And being a one-person business, I had to decide to go with the cheaper one, which made me feel bad. But I did try to the cheaper one was China. But I did try to do research on the company and make sure that the company had not been reported for bad business practices and that they were essentially not stealing my art to resell it or anything like that. So, and I used Artscow for them, and they actually do a lot of cool printing, and they seem to be above board. So I'll link to them as well in the description because I actually have a referral link you guys could use for some credits. So, ooh, excuse me. It's raining hard outside. It's exciting. But that's pretty much all that I have for today. So unless there are any more questions last minute before I head out, do you have any more, Bronwyn? And I will check Twitter real fast too. Facebook and Twitter. See if anyone else has any questions. So you get to see my derpy typeface. Where I'm like, herping. None on there. And none that I see on Facebook, so I'm gonna head out for now because I got a lot of painting I have to do on panels for the mentorship meeting tonight. So thanks again for your support, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this broadcast, and I'll remember to check me out on Patreon. I'm patreon.com/Angela Sasser, and I'll add a bunch of links to the description on this video when it auto uploads to YouTube. So. But thanks again for tuning in. Always nice to see you in the Q&A panel, Bronwyn. Don't worry about it. We've got hopefully more months where we can ask more questions. So take care, everybody. Thanks again for tuning in. Bye-bye.